My name is Mike. I'm a professional musician. That's it? Yeah. You good? Okay. My name is Paul Hoffman. I'm also a musician in Greensky Bluegrass.
My name is Mike Bont, or Michael Bont. I also am a musician.
Pretty informal, kind of around town, open mics, bars, basements, and then bells. You know, where Kalamazoo's got bells, so we met there, and you know, it informally grew into this very, very formal outfit in which we now play.
Is there anybody we could look forward to seeing on set here at Electric, like guest-wise?
You know, I hope so. Or not.
Get Skrillex.
I don't know if he's here. We haven't even planned yet. It's still tomorrow, you know. So we'll see. I don't know who's going to be here. But we're always open to having a guest. Or not having a guest is really good too, because then we can just do our thing.
And say, hey, I want to hop in.
Usually they're the people who are just hanging around. Hey, you! Loitering. Come here. Hey, you're around. You want to come play a song with us? Well, actually, since Lettuce is playing behind us, it reminds me of Jam Cruise, and it was Lettuce. That's coming from over there, though. That's from over there? Stop nerfing my interview, bro. Sorry. I'm really enjoying it. We set up a lot of stuff there. You know, we had Joel Cummings from Humphreys sit in there because he was an artist at large, and that was kind of his job, to sit in with people. And then now every time he's around, we're like, yeah, get up, play the song. And it's, you know, once you establish the relationship, it just goes from there. And I guess we'll see who's around tomorrow. Maybe something new will happen. We'll have a DJ sitting up. That'd be very electric. That sounds hard. That sounds hard? That sounds hard logistically. We'll figure it out. Channel 6 is out. Base DI. Channel 7 through 66. Is that how that works? No, they only need two channels, left and right.
We're big into Joe Satriani. And then,
I mean, you were.
I'm still into Joe Satriani.
Into Joe Satriani. Have you heard his tone?
It's Tone Central. And I try to emulate that tone every day on the banjo.
We all obviously have very eclectic musical influences that come out in various little samples in our music. I think as far as the band goes, like in the early days, we were very bluegrassy, in an amateur, no idea what the hell we were doing kind of way, as we were all learning our instruments, and then you know, in that old standard mantra, learn the rules to break them. We almost learned how to play bluegrass, and then we started trying to do a bunch of other stuff. So anything goes is kind of our band motto. I think so. I think that bluegrass is sort of broadly defined into a lot of bands are getting popular who have banjos and play acoustic instruments, but that people call bluegrass but aren't really bluegrass specifically, but are becoming huge. So we're hoping to get some of that. Yeah, we play, I don't know. Yeah. I think bluegrass is more popular, definitely more popular than when we started at the very beginning. I didn't even know what the hell bluegrass was when we started, so when I see 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds at our show, I'm like, how do they know what the hell's going on? I guess it's because of a festival like this, you know. I didn't at all. I saw David Grisman and I was like, that mandolin thing looks cool. And then I bought one. And then I met these guys and they were like, you need to look up Bill Monroe. And I was like, who's he? So, John Hartford. Who? I love that festival. It is the best festival in a lot of ways in my world. It's amazing, but there are a
a lot of other festivals that are the best festival for a lot of reasons. I don't think the reason the Telluride I love it so much is because it's centered around bluegrass. In fact, we don't play a lot of festivals that much that are specifically centered around bluegrass. So in a way, Telluride is and really isn't. But I think just the setting there is amazing. Obviously in the mountains, and you see a lot of people we know, and just it's all really cool.
We definitely don't play very many bluegrass festivals. We sort of prefer not to, too. You know, like the simple explanation is it's really fun to be the odd man out. If Pretty Lights came to Telluride, I'm sure you'd feel the same way. There's a commodity that's involved there when you're like the only one that's doing something like totally unique, and that's what all musicians want to do is like find their niche and get in it, and then like sort of grow it from there. And like when we're here, we can play a really bluegrassy song, and there's this great appreciation for it because it's like so far off the center of what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
And when we're, thank you, it's Chelsea. This is Chelsea Shirts for Bells.
Hi, Chelsea.
And
Drive anyway.
you know, and like when we're at Telluride and everybody plays mando and banjo, there's like a different demand for what our set or what it needs to be. You know, for better or worse at both of them, it's really great to do it all. We recorded a bunch of remixes.
Yeah. Remember Less Than Supper? It's that, pretty much.
Got a name for it?
Almost.
Almost. If we do, I don't know yet.
It's gonna be, it's the future of the Greensky Bluegrass discography. It's like everything is one step farther towards something. I don't know that it's not totally different and it's not the same. So
expect the unexpected,
but it's great.
It's Greensky Bluegrass.
That kind of changed the pace from the rest of the album. What made you go that way with it? Would you do that more in the future?
There's some more of that kind of thing on the new album as well. Being in the studio sort of grants us the ability to expand what we are capable of as musicians, and what we can do on stage with just our 5 acoustic instruments is limited to some sort of spectrum without the help of all these outside variables. But when we're in the studio, sort of anything's possible, and we don't want to go so far off the deep end that it's not Greensky, but it turns out that the pool's pretty big and a lot of things fit. So the new album's got a couple of songs that sort of do some of that, and it's not like it's studio magic and we're splicing tape and cutting shit together, but there's just so much control over what the song can become. And with that song specifically, I wrote it sort of in jest one day, just messing around in my house, and never intended for it to be anything serious. And even when we were going into the studio to record the album, I was really skeptical of where it would fit on the record, and this is totally off the wall. The song doesn't fit at all. And it was one of the most amazing experiences I had ever had in a studio, just messing with the vocals. And we give ourselves, every time we make a new album, we give ourselves more time. We had 2 days or 3 days every year, so that we can sit around and be well, let's try this microphone, and not have to be worrying that we're going overboard on time. And it just got crazy in there that night we were recording that tune. And we did a tune on this album that's going to be the same way, and it got crazy again. Got real loud.
That's the fun night in the studio too, that you kind of save up for when you that you want to save a whole evening's worth to work on something. It's kind of underdeveloped and you don't know where it's going to go. It's fun to save that and spend a lot of hours just sort of
we sort of took it a step far. That song, because of the studio, became what it is, and we didn't even really know what it was going to be. I mean, like I said, I was skeptical that it even belonged until we started playing it and messing with it, and then it grew into this thing. And then when you hear what it starts to become, you're oh, you know what this needs? Let's try this. And then our engineer guy's like, well, I've got a blah blah. He's got everything. And this time in the studio, he sort of like composed a tune in the studio. We had a rough framework where how it was going to go, and we sort of just got in there one night and played.
Train of thought.
Played through it 2 times straight through, and then we came back and like broke it all up and listened to it. You know, interestingly enough, it's kind of like a lot what these guys do, listening to like a track and like take this and take that, and we really like built the song in the studio, which is something totally different than we've ever done. Kind of like what the Talking Heads used to do, just like record a bass track and 4 minutes, and then like, oh, I know what I can put over that.
Just layer it.
Yeah, and you know, for what our band is acoustic, like we build songs in the living room. We don't need any help. So that angle is like sort of growing in our studio. Usually, I'll write, or Dave will write like the framework of a song, and then we'll sort of like build the rest beyond that. You know, I'll suggest you do something on the banjo, and then he'll do something entirely different, and I'll be like, that's way cooler, let's do that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
But I think that's what makes this last album a little different than anything we've ever done. Is that there was a lot of stuff going into the studio that we were sort of like undeveloped and open to whatever could possibly happen. You know, in the past, I think we were a little more nervous about that, and we had everything ready, and that sort of like limits what can happen. And in this case, like there was a couple songs I wrote that we threw around all these different ways, and so many different ways that we were like, which one do you like better? I don't know, that one or maybe this one, and someone else likes this one. We're like totally open to doing whatever. So
that's cool. So I noticed on your last album you kind of had this theme of like almost like the faults of mankind. I want to say like, you know, a lot of pain stories kind of. So you think you're gonna like change up like subjectively in like your lyrics, you know, or are you gonna keep rolling with the same style?
What do you think about the new lyrics?
I know that
handguns.
People feel like handguns is bleak. And when I walked away from like making handguns, I didn't feel like it was bleak. I felt like it was serious, and I loved it. But it's like, it is bleak in a lot of ways, and it's like
it's got like joyful overtones.
Yeah,
which I really
it's
like.
real. I think it's real in the way that like we sort of answer about like the bleakness sort of like lyrics sometimes. And I'm not one to write some ball, and Dave generally are. It's like, I guess there's a certain thing about the Midwest that like doesn't make us write about mountains and dolphins and oceans and stuff, you know, because it's not what we know.
Right.
People think Handguns is bleak, and I think this album is. I think this album is lighter.
I think it might be a little lighter. There's a couple songs that are a little more like fun.
Yeah, there's like some textural stuff I think on this album that changes the feel of what you're listening to. In general, I think that can maybe change the interpretation of some of the lyrics, but I feel like it's lighter.
Yeah, the thing for
I didn't
me
think
is like,
Handguns was bleak, but
yeah, it goes. There's some stuff on the new album too that lyrically is just like, ouch. I enjoyed writing lyrics like that though. Like sometimes I think that if you can just like come out and say the most thing instead of like beating around the bush with it, it's like an empowering like, now it's on the table. And you know, like all the old blues guys used to say, it's like the blues is supposed to like be a catharsis. It's supposed to make you feel good. Like you sing about your pain and then you let it go. So for me, like singing a happy song is fun, but I just don't know how to write one.
It's hard for you, it really is.
you're like an oil slick.
I don't know, it's weird. We need to start covering I'm Walking on Sunshine, because that's like real.
That's a real.
I'm walking on sunshine. I guess.
We should.
It's a good idea.
Do you think the new album is lighter?
It's different. It's kind of, I don't know, I think it's more, there's more depth to it. It has a lot of the same, like, similar material, but there's, I think there's a lot of other stuff, I don't know, it's more.
It's part of our bio, right?
Yeah, it is.
We read our bio recently. I'm like
staying up late at all the coolest festivals.
Any crazy stories?
For video cameras. We're fun, man. You know,
kind of like our shows. I think to feel like that too. It's not like we're trying to like always be the party band, but I like to look out there and see the people are having a blast and kind of like losing themselves and dancing and just sort of like letting loose. It's really fun.
So does
That's
that come out?
That's the party that I'm trying to focus on. It oozes out into other kinds of partying before and after the gig. We have fun. Ooze party.
I'm having a wiffle ball party on the 3rd of July. It's gonna be a rager.
Wiffle ball.
You guys know, come. It's fun.
Everybody's invited. What's your address, bar?
No, it's like you know, in light of like really heavy and bleak lyrics, like I feel like when we come to a thing like this and we're playing shows, like our job is loosely defined, of course, but it's for people to come have fun. You know, people do all sorts of things for a living to make a living and work, and some of them like it, some of them don't, and some of them get through it so that they can do fun things like this. So when they come here, like, we're gonna try our damnedest to make sure it's like the most fun they've ever had, or whatever we can do to be a part of that. I'll take that very seriously. You know, people work hard to get here and do this. That's why it says we throw a good party, because
digging this.
Mon's dying to get over to that.